Your locals are about to be hella salty, y'all. Alright guys, this is the most toxic Cyber Dragon deck I have ever built. Cyber Dragons, obviously, if you're forced to go second, you can wipe your entire opponent's board just with that archetype alone. The rest of this deck flows together amazingly. So I'm going to show it and explain it right away. So we got one OG Cyber Dragon. It is searchable in this deck. And we want to be able to play the grind game. We're not trying to OTK right away, even though we can. If it comes up, we can still do all the same combos from all the other previous Cyber Dragon deck lists I've showed, some way or another. And yeah, we got a searchable out going second to wipe any of your opponent's monsters, especially with Super Heavy Samurais. Right now, their main combo line doesn't leave them with a bunch of machine monsters, but they do play a bunch of machine monsters, even in their extra deck, so it is a good out in your extra deck. So we do play the one core and the one hers for the full combo, and we just play one of each so that we don't get our hands clogged down, because we are trying to do other things at the same time. So we play the 3 emergency. We can search whatever we need to our hand. The core play, we got Repair Plant, obviously, to get to our Galaxy Soldiers. Galaxy Soldiers are a huge extender in this deck. They don't necessarily have all the plays revolving around them, so if they get interrupted, it is not that big of a deal. The other card that we can search with our Repair Plant is our Jizukiru. Towers and big monsters like Barone and stuff that we don't really want to have to deal with multiple negates, we'll just use our Kaiju. So that's it for our Cyber Dragon engine. It's not too crazy. 3, 6, 9, 10 cards altogether that coexist just through the Cyber Engine package. We'll keep that in view. Next up, we have the ABCs. So with our ABCs, we got the 2 A's, the 2 B's, and the 2 C's. Standard. You can up it if you'd like, 1 B, but really with this deck, we don't have too much space. So I like to keep it at 2 apiece. This part of the engine of the deck really helps your grind game. You're able to go into your Baguska, your rank 4 plays. You're able to go into your IP and your Appaloozas after you tag out. All your link fodder is your ABC Buster Dragon tagging out to bring back your A, B, and C. And that alone sometimes overwhelms your opponent with just the ABC package. So we do play the 1 driver. We play the 3 Union Hanger, the 1 set rotation, and the 1 terraforming to search out the field spell, because we do play 1 other field spell. So set rotation is always in this deck because it also puts a card in your opponent's board, so they can't evenly match you. And then we play the 1 unauthorized reactivation to go with the ABC package. If you end up drawing your driver, you can unauthorized reactivation to equip it from your hand, as well as if your Union Hangers get stopped, your unauthorized reactivation can equip to keep your ABC plays going. And if you know ABCs, you know that Union Hanger itself is a 1-card combo. So you have that. We'll go like that. There we go. So that's everything to do with your ABC part. So there's your Cyber Dragon and your ABCs. Also, all your ABCs are fodder for your Galaxy Soldier ditch material. So that's how those coexist together. And your unauthorized reactivation can also equip a piece to any of your Cyber Dragons, just in case you had to get them out on the board and into the game. Next up, we have your 3 Bystial Magnamoots. After your Cyber Dragons do their thing, you can banish them. You don't need them after that. Your opponents, like Drytron, Mathmech, Sword Soul, there's a ton of light and dark decks running around, especially with Syak just being released. With Chaos Angel, you're going to be seeing a lot more Chaos builds and dark builds. So I like the small Bystial package. We play the 1 Druis Worm and the 1 Baldrake as well as your searches for the Magnemite. Next up, we play the small Therion package. We play the 1 Regulus and the 1 Disc Coliseum. This way it doesn't clog out our hands. We're not too reliant on just this engine of the deck. And with our set rotation, that's how we get our Therion Disc Coliseum. Since it's not the biggest part of the deck, we can afford to cut down in this build. So just a small Therion package. So we still need our Spright Blue. But 1 Spright Blue and 1 Spright Jet. Nothing to search Spright Jet with. Just that way it doesn't clog. It's still an extender because we do play level 2 with our Cyber Dragon. And we do play Link 2s in this deck as well as Rank 2s. So your sprites are still live even if you draw them. But this is for the combo at the end. Also, because this deck is playing Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, we do main deck Spright, Gigantic Spright. So it's already in the extra deck for when we want to side in Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries against Sprites. So the small Spright package acts as extenders. It doesn't really get in the way. Don't be too worried that there's nothing to search with Jet. It's not that big of a deal. This card is supposed to be Iblia. I do not have an Ibli, but since this deck is the ultimate, most toxic anti-meta deck, you have to incorporate Ibli. There are plays I've showed on this channel before with Ibli, with this deck in particular. So that's where she comes in, and it's an easy side out, but most decks really do get screwed over with the Ibli. So I do like to incorporate 1 Ibli. Last up, we got the 2 hand traps, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. So that's it for the monsters. We play the 1 Called by the Grave because we are building to go first or second. Called by the Grave can remove problematic stuff going second that they've already set up, but also going first just to save yourself from being hand trapped and all that. We play the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster because we can wipe all the back row with just 1 card. It is perfect. We play the 1 Triple Tactics Talent just to keep us going in case they try to interrupt us. So we do have Called by the Grave and Triple Tactics Talent in our main build for those reasons. And then that's it for the spells that don't have anything to do with our engines. And last but not least, the traps. So if you see in the thumbnail, we do have 2 anti-spell that I was going to main, but I decided to switch that up with 2 D-Barrier. This is because obvious Super Heavy Samurai can't get anti-spelled, but D-Barrier affects them with their XYZs and with their synchros. They can't get into their Excel synchro, they can't get into their Barone through Dimensional Barrier. So anti-spell does nothing against them, D-Barrier does a little bit more against them. And also against Branded, against most decks in the format are either playing XYZ, even Trap Tricks, they have XYZ monsters. So not being able to shut down Link isn't as problematic as it used to be because it's not as prevalent right now. Most decks are XYZ, Synchro, or even Fusion in the meta, or even Drytron with the Ritual. So D-Barrier, I feel, just covers more of the meta, especially even with the Rogue. You never really know what you're going to go against. If you go against Gate Guardian, it stops their fusions. Light Sworns can stop whatever. You know, Cyber Dragon, all the different Rogue decks, it can actually still stop them. So D-Barrier, I feel, is almost mainable in most going first builds this format. Especially if you're just trying to shut down the meta. We do have the One Solemn Judgment ghosted out. Shout out to you, my brother Liam. That is just to stop anything. Easy side out for going second. Your 2 imperms for going first or second, whether you win the dice roll or not, they're helpful. They do kind of not really coexist with the Bystials that well, but you are only playing 5 Bystials, so the point where you're going to draw an imperm and a Bystial at the same time, it's not really that realistic. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. And also, it's the easy side out if you want to. If not, though, I don't really find myself siding out my imperms, because whether they don't completely shut down a deck or not, they actually do act as another hand trap. So whether going first or second, you have some interruption. So that's it for the main deck. Let's get on to the extra deck. Alright, so let's get right into it. Because it's Cyber Dragons, we play the Solomon Great Almirage, the Platinum Gadget because of the ABCs, Sprite Sprint because of our sweet little combo we have. If you guys want to check that out, it's in a previous video. IP Masquerena. We got the Appaloosa. Another thing with the Ghost Reapers and Winter Cherries, after you look into your opponent's deck and you rip the problematic monster that you're going against, because we play IP and Appaloosa and other generic cards such as Baguska, you can actually see if your opponent has those cards that might become a problem to you in the later game. And if you ever draw your second, or let's say you side in a third copy of Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, you can also just hit those before they even become a problem. You play 1 Underworld Goddess because you link so heavily in this deck with your ABCs, and you can make Underworld quite easily. You play your Gigantic Sprint for the level 2 combo. Not the level 2 combo, for the Cyber Dragon combo. Next up, we have your Cyber Dragon Nova. Obviously, with the Nova, we have the Infinity. We have Baguska. You can always just sit on it. Going turn 1, you can sit on a Baguska with a bunch of traps and see if your opponent can get through that. I doubt they will, especially Super Heavy Samurais. This is going to be big in the next format, I think. Zeus. Always have to play the Zeus when you're playing XYZs. If you ever come across Pearlies and you end up main decking Plump, you can make a pretty big Zeus. But with Plump only having 200 attack, I don't know how often you're going to be attacking with Plump. Next up, we got your Fortress Dragon, and you got your Mega Fleet Dragon. This is your Cyber Dragon going second. This is why you main deck Cyber Dragons, because you can wipe your opponent's entire machine board. You can wipe your opponent's Zeus. You can wipe your opponent's Infinity. There are rogue decks that do play a little package just to get an Infinity out. And any access code talkers or big towers cards, your Mega Fleet just acts as a kaiju and puts a monster on your board instead. You take their monster and you put a bigger one on your board. So they are basically a must in this build. Maybe even try and play more depending on what the meta becomes. And last but not least, your 2 ABC Dragon Buster. I never find myself needing a third. And I usually win before I even am able to make the second. There are turns, though, where you can make both Dragon Busters in the same turn. I wouldn't really do that unless I'm going for game that turn, just because you really have no follow-up except for your XYZs after that. All right, on to the side deck. So this is almost main deckable to me. It is a dark for your Bystials if you really needed to. It's good as a side deck target for now. I'd play the 2 Ghost Reapers. This is Kashtira Spright. I don't have one because I don't play it, but now I'd probably pick it up just for this build. We got the 1 Mirror Jade. against branded, obviously. We have the Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow for Super Heavy Samurai, and we have your E-Pearly Plump, which you could main deck to make a pretty big Zeus yourself, since we do make a gigantic Sprite and an ability to make either a Sprint or a second rank 2 with the Sprite Blue and Jet Play. But for now, it is in our side deck. And then we do play the one Abyss Dweller just for our own side-in options in case we're playing against some graveyard heavy decks. So that's the Reapers and the extra deck in the side deck. The rest is just all side deck targets, regular side deck targets. So we got the 2 Ash Blossoms. Also for branded. So for branded, we get to side in some Ash Blossoms, some Ghost Reapers, and we already main deck Dimensional Barrier. Branded is not having a good day against us. That is for sure. We played 2 Chaos Hunter. It is still a cash format, and it helps against Rogue actually pretty well. Anti-Spell, almost main decked, if it wasn't for Super Heavy Samurai. Super Heavy Samurai, as long as they're in the meta, we'll just keep this in the side. Once they go out of the meta, if we still want to be super toxic with this build, we'll just swap these with the D-Barriers. Last but not least, we play the 2 Evenly Match for when we know when we're going second. Alright guys, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.